we're going to see who's going to be first today. I know I'm late, so we're going to just go ahead and do that. Trying to see who's going to be first. Let's see. All right. And the winner is. Wait a minute. Was it? I'm trying to see who was first. All right, let me see. We're real slow up in here today. Let me see. I'm trying to see. I'm gonna get there. So first today was Alicia. Hey, Alicia. Thank you for joining us. Glad to have you. And let's see. Rashawn, Deanna, hello. I got my heart from Janet. Um, LaWanda Tillman joined us, which means Georgia State Warriors, Golden State Warriors are not playing. Angela Kirkland has joined us. Hello, Allison Blue. Hello, Carolyn Thompson. Hello. Good to see Marjorie Young. Yes, it has been a long week, and that's why I'm late. Um, let me see. Hey, Miss Charlotte. Good to see you, ma'am. Good to see one of my mentors, Dr. Pete Silva, who is on a beach somewhere in sunny Jamaica, but yet he's still on Friday Night Live. So you know what? I can't be mad with you, Doc, on that. Where in sunny Jamaica. I cannot be mad at you. And yet he's still on Friday Night Live. So you know what? Get this. I can't be mad with you, Doc. I cannot be mad. I'm trying to get my stuff together. I'm hearing myself. You know what? I can't be mad with you, Doc. I cannot be mad. There we go. I'm trying to get my stuff together. I'm hearing myself. There we go. All right, I got it now. Thank you. All right, now we're going. And Lala is on from California, where it never rains. Lita, good to see you. Jackie Bonner, thank you so much for joining us. Hey, Trey, my brother, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Good to see Des Duval on. You might have logged on first, but you did not comment first, and I can only look at who pops up first. Good to see Glenda Jones, who I had a chance to see in person this week, so it was good to see Glenda. I just saw Priscilla Williams, so good to see you, Dr. Williams. Good to see Renee on with us. Glad to have you with us, Renee. Patricia, thank you. Good to see LaMonica on with us. Cheryl is watching from Miami. So I got Dr. Pete Silver in Miami. I have Lala in California. And we have Cheryl in Miami. Good to see Miss Annette Mitchell on with us as well. Good to see Pastor Thurman Tillman. Good to see you, sir. Janine Brown, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Miss Phyllis, thank you for joining us. Molly is on with us. Happy Friday to you. Barbara Dolores, happy date night to you as well. Good to see Bernice Lohman, who's always working, always busy, always creating stuff. Good to see Ed Markey on, and it was good meeting you the other day. Good to see Joya Dinkins on, which means that Richard is somewhere close, I think. Good to see my brother Harry Thompson on. Thank you for joining us. Good to see David Minkowitz on. Happy Easter and happy Passover to you. Juanita Johnson is on with us. And Miranda Lumpkin Lotson has joined us. Thank you so much. And Felicia, happy Resurrection weekend to you as well. Good to see all of you. Thank you so much for joining us. And let me see. I'm looking. Golden State Warriors play tonight at 10. All right, so that means I know how much time I got. Shauna Kennedy, good to see you. Still giving you some love. Good to see Lavoria on with us as well. It's been a busy day. Um, Important day, though, as well. Thank you so much. Good to see Miss Julia on, and you know we give Miss Julia love, so everybody, let's give Miss Julia some love. Everybody, give her some love. B. Michelle, good to see you as well. Thank you so much for joining us. It is Friday. Linda Kelly is on with us. So it's always good to see Linda on. And I'm trying to make sure I have not missed anybody yet. I'm looking. Um, so yeah, so Vandalin, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Um, and let's see, Ivania, thank you so much. God is keeping me. Georgia, hello, Georgia. Thank you for joining us. Margaret is on from Bluffton. Patricia is on with us. Hey, Lynn, good to see you. Thank you for joining us this evening. And so what had happened was, um, and Margie, matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you why I was late. And so I'm admitting I was late. Good to see Charlinda on. She had a birthday, so I'm gonna give her some love. Happy birthday to this warrior against lupus. And so we want to give her some love. So y'all give Charlinda some love as she continues to battle. So, um, but anyway, well, I'll tell you about what happened. Um, so you know it's Friday, right? And you know it's Friday. Oh, so Richard just comes on and wants to know why I'm late. All right. So it's Friday. It's Friday night in Savannah. And you know what happens on Friday night in Savannah. It's time for Friday Night Live. And what happened was I had a really good reason for being late. I was judging a lip sync contest for Mary's Place. Mary's Place um, is formerly the Rape Crisis Center, and so they were doing a lip sync contest in honor of um, I guess it was Child Awareness Month, or I mean something along those lines, and um, they were doing a lip sync to be able to raise money for the many things they do to be able to protect um, those who don't have a voice, mostly victims of sexual assault. And so they asked me to be a judge for it. Y'all know I'll try not to put nothing on Friday nights because y'all know how we get down on Friday nights. But it was such a good cause, and I think the world of the work that the Rape Crisis Center does, and particularly now Mary's Place and Mary McAllister and Doris Williams, and the work that they're doing, that I went to go and help, and so I went and I um, participated. I was a judge along with Kim Michael Pilote and um, and Renee um, from the radio station, and it was Renee LaSalle from the station, and I'm on here and I'm like, y'all got to hurry up, I got to go, because I got a date on Friday nights. So I went and I judged. It was a great time. It was a fun time. I don't even know who won because I said I got to go because it's Friday and I got something I got to do on Friday night. So I got up and I left. And so I got home, and then the computer was acting up because I probably need to reboot. And so here I am, and that's why I'm late. I ask that y'all please forgive me. Good to see Judy Nixon Johnson on. Good to see Julie Dink is on as well. And so that's the reason why I'm late. But if it's Friday night, you know what we do. And so I had to get to you. Good to see you, Tandra. Thank you for joining us. It was Friday, and I said, I got stuff to do. I got to go to my relationship. I have to go to my entanglement. I have to go to my boo things, my sweet things. I have to go be in my peace, which is Friday Night Live. And I'm just so glad and so grateful all of you are joining us. Good to see Sarah Stevens, Liberty City's finest and Liberty County's finest joining us. I mean, I just had to get here. And so I did. And so um, I'm here a little late, but I am here on Friday night where I M. And so you know there are things we do on Friday night. The first thing we do, we want you to share the page. Share the page. Share the page. We want you to like the page as well. Share the page, like the page. Share the page, like the page. Share the page, like the page. We are not good as Margaret is on from Bluffton. Uh, and I think I spoke to Georgia and Margie as well. But yeah. So share the page, like the page, share the page, like the page, and then you know what we do, right? We do this. We show love to our girl Tara Strong. Matter of fact, I saw her this week. It was the funniest thing. They surprised her. They brought her by my office, and I had a chance to surprise her. And so um, she knows that we are still thinking about her. We're still praying for her. We still hold her up, and we're all still Tara Strong. So she was happy, and I was happy to see her happy. And certainly, I know, and she knows and feels your thoughts and prayers that are extended toward her, and particularly all this love for her on Friday nights. She is a part of our Friday Night Live family, and that's just how we do on Friday nights. So, um, good to see all of you, and thank you for all of that. Um, so, let me see. Good to see the fabulous Tammy Stone on as well. Always good to see her. So we appreciate you being on as well. Let me see. Look. So y'all forgive me. Okay, I'm glad y'all forgive me because I was rushing. Paula Hannah, good to see you as well. Um, I was. It was definitely a good cause. Um, Marsha, good to see you. And Patricia loves me, and I love Patricia too. Thank you. Um, and Sarah has suggestions. Um, well, Sarah, feel free to inbox me that information, and we'll see what we can do. Just inbox me what you just did. Just copy it, inbox me. Stony, good to see my beautiful niece Cheyenne on as well. Uh, Ironbow, good to see you. Sherry is on as well. Sandra says happy grateful evening, and we say the same to you, Cheryl. Good evening as well. Paul, this is Paul's first Friday Night Live, so ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and give Paul some love. Paul Hanna, welcome to Friday Night Live. Welcome to Date Night. Welcome to the family. Homa, good to see you. Thank you for joining us as well. Beverly Howell has joined us, and so we're glad to see Beverly on as well. Thank you so much. Trying to keep up with these as best I can. And Lala is with the grandkids and grandkids, including Tyler. And so we are shouting out Tyler. And yes, Tyler, your daughter Savannah is coming to meet the mayor of Savannah in July. And so there's not much you can do about that. Me and Grandmama already had that set up. Savannah is coming to City Hall, and she's going to meet the mayor of her city named in her honor. So nice to meet you, Tyler. Um, Willa Bolden is on from South Carolina. Thank you for joining us. Um, let's see. Gail is on. Sierra is on as well. Good to see Michelle and Mr. Bill on with us. Good to see Lawrence Buddy Bryan. Uh, Lawrence Buddy Bryan is a force of nature all to himself. He is everywhere doing everything. So always good to see him on with us in the evening. Good to see Beverly. Beverly, thank you so much. Oh, Paula. I'm sorry, Paula. Um, it's Paula, y'all. I said Paul. It's Paula Hannah. So we send some love to Paula. Marsha, you had a break in your home at 1:30 in the morning. They stole your TV and Wi-Fi games that your father gave you for the grandkids. Um, Marsha, send me that information. Inbox me on that, and let's see what was going on because that's kind of weird. So do that. Good to see Terry Mobley has joined us, and today is Seven Last Words. So yes, that's why she's here. Elise, good to see you. Gene Holly, good to see you, sir. Thank you for joining us. Um, so let me tell you all. So tonight is week number 159. Yes, week number 159, 1,115 days, 159 weeks, 3 years, 20 days, every Friday for the last 3 years, 20 days, every Friday for the last 36 months. We have been getting together on Friday Night Live, and we owe that all to you. And Jackie wants me to say hello to Rhonda Elby. Happy birthday, Rhonda Elby, from me to you. Happy birthday, Dennis. Thank you for joining us. Iron Bull just found out he's not the only professional event coming. That is correct. The WWE is coming here. Snowy, good to see you. Bernice, all the way from um, King County in Washington State. As a matter of fact, I'll be there over the summer, so we'll have to connect. Um, and so, again, just very, very excited that all of you are here and then again with us. 159. That's how we've been doing it, y'all. 159 is how many times we have been doing this. So, um, very excited about that. Let me see who else we got. Um, Chuck, good to see you, Chuck. Happy Easter to you. Grace, good to see you. Hey, Mama Marsha is on with us. Tony is in Austin visiting his son, so we hope you get there safe. The bishop is in Savannah. Whoa. That's he didn't tell me the bishop had snuck in town. Vera, good to see you as well. Erla, hello. Um, Kelly Fletcher, wow. Kels is on with us. She's always busy. Thank you so much, Elise. I appreciate you. Emma, thank you. And your son-in-law is doing better, Michelle. We're glad to hear that. Um, and yeah, hey, Elandi and Denise, 159. And so today is Good Friday. In the Christian faith, it is the day that Jesus Christ was crucified. Um, the most amazing thing to me, and I might be a little quirky, but it really kind of reveals to me, really, that oftentimes we really separate ourselves when we're really more together than we think. You know, the month of Ramadan that we're in is celebrated by Muslims around the world. We are in the midst of Passover, which celebrates the exodus of the Jewish people. And we are in the midst of Holy Week for Christians, culminating with Good Friday, Holy Saturday, and then, of course, Easter or Resurrection Sunday. And so that, it just shows me, it's just, that oftentimes we're really not as far away from each other than we think. And we can find ways of creating commonality with people. And so, I choose to build bridges instead of barriers. I choose to live uh, a life of diversity and inclusion. That my circle is not limited, doesn't have to be limited, and it could be big. So I could celebrate Ramadan with the Muslim people. I could celebrate Passover with the Jewish people, and I could celebrate Resurrection Sunday with Christian folks. Last night I was at um, an Indian temple, and that was it was an amazing experience. It's out there in unincorporated Chatham County, but in Bloomingdale. But their Swami was here from India, and he was amazing. And it was just all of these folks here, and they were there, and I participated in their prayers. And I think I was the first mayor to ever come out there, and it was just awesome. The Swami blessed me, and he talked a lot about building bridges, and that we are one, and that we should not find ways to keep excluding people. And I think the world would just be a better place if we found ways to include people in our lives and into our conversations. You learn so much. I'm going to post some of those pictures later on. Um, but they prayed to the gods, and I did as well, and um, they offered blessings to me and for me. And I just think that we can believe what we can believe, and we can believe in somebody else's right to believe what they can believe, and we can respect what they believe, and we don't have to be able to be in judgment or sit in judgment, because at the end of the day, um, it all leads to God. Um, and so, however you choose to get there is your way. Your way may not be my way. My way may not be your way. But I can respect your decision and your right to be able to decide on your way or no way at all. And so, we should use this time as a time of reflection, and a time of of, of repentance. And that's just um, the way I think that it should be. And so for me, the life's lesson was that um, that in 1 week, I, I I celebrated Ramadan, and I celebrated Passover. I celebrated at um, a Indian um, temple, and this weekend we'll celebrate um, the resurrection of Christ, and it's all okay. And so we have to try to find ways to start expanding our circles a little more, and it was just awesome. So certainly however you choose to worship, however you choose to reflect, I just think respect, uh, inclusion is that way. And so um, it's been kind of an epiphany for me, um, to say, you know what, we're all in this together, and we're all trying to find our way, to be better and to do better, and religion helps us to get there. And so, if I choose to go to Atlanta on I-16, um, then that's all right. If I choose to go to Atlanta another way, it's okay too. The goal is to be able to get there. So, um, yeah, so that was kind of where I was. Good to see Miss Alvernia Jackson on as well. And good to see Lucille Bacon on. Thank you so much, Miss Bacon, for joining us. So, um, hey, Miss Patricia, good to see you. So, that's all I got to talk about. I mean, obviously, hey, good to see Tara on, um, them Haywood girls. So so today I'm listening. If there's something that you all want, that's really on your mind and you want to talk about, then please, this is your time to be able to do it. I would love to hear what's on your mind, any questions you have about what's happening. And I'll see things have been relatively quiet, and we were able to break ground on some um, things up in Highlands and some parks. We're trying to continue to build that out. Obviously, it's gone a little smaller, gone a little slower than we would have liked. Good to see Georgia on with us, but we're getting there. We live in a phenomenal city, and because we live in a phenomenal city, we have the opportunity to do phenomenal things. And so, um, if there's something that you all want to discuss, certainly this is the time to do it. If you have questions you want to ask, this is to do it. Janet Jackson is on her way to Savannah. She's coming to see me. We got things to talk about. Ethel, you're very welcome. I actually got into a big beef on the Hollis page, Ethel, because I mean, people say a trip, and it's like, well, why do y'all do a master plan? It's like, well, we knew you wanted a walking trail, so we had the $1.2 million, so we started the walking trail. It's just, I realize some people never be satisfied with what you do, but good to see Sherry Smiley on with us as well. Um, Always a pleasure Um, so also, you all know what I'm trying to do in my life, and so for those of you who feel so inclined, uh, feel free to do so. I'm going to go ahead and put that in there for those of you who choose to want to be engaged. Again, no pressure. You don't have to, but you know, you know, the dollar works, whatever that is. Um, so hey, George, good to see you. And Sabrina Scales is on with us as well. Good to see you, man. Hey, good to see Pat Rossiter on joining us. Good to see you, Pat. And well, yeah, at least no. I mean, um, no. I mean, I think for us, I think if we're going to talk about inclusion, then inclusion includes those who believe and those who choose not to believe anything at all. I mean, I think we have to have everything, and I think it's okay for people to believe it. And at the end, we're just trying to find the best way to do the best we can to make it through life. And so people have found various ways of doing that. And um, so at least we don't. I mean, we don't. I mean, who am I? I can't criticize you uh, for not believing, and people who are atheists, people who are agnostic. Um, you know, you're still a part of our city, and you're still a valued part of our city, and we're still glad to have you here. And as long as you treat people right, hey, me and you are all right. So you're very welcome for that. So Lala wants a link. Lala, how are you gonna get? How you need a link to do that? And you are in California. Yeah, you're in California. But I did do this. Dr. Terlin, you sent an email about history making moment, being first African American, first Georgian to be elected as the president of the School Social Workers Association of America president. Yes, I did. I did see that, and I believe we've offered congratulations to you for doing that, Dr. Cannon. So congratulations to you. Um, Marsha, send me inbox, and I will give you that information uh, as well. So thank you. Good to see Alan right on with us. Always a pleasure to have you. And Sherry, I agree with you. We have the greatest city on earth. Um, let's see. Where can you get a Pat Rossiter sign? Pat Rossiter. They want to know where they can get a Pat Rossiter sign. So inbox Pat Rossiter. Pat, don't respond on here. Just inbox her, and you can tell her where to get a Pat Rossiter sign. They're already. Um, Tanya, hello. Oh, I like that, Elise. A secular humanist. I'm gonna give you some love on that one because I never heard that before. And no, what you need to do, Dr. Silva, is you need to bring me out to Jamaica so I can have like a day or two on the beach and just, I can just chill out with you and just kind of hang out. I mean, that must be all right. You must be writing another book. But thank you, Dr. Silva. I appreciate your love and support. Good to see Karen Hughes. It's been a while, but you've been kind of busy. I've been stalking your page, seeing you flying in and out and going here and there and stuff. So good to see you, Karen. So I mean, I said what I was going to say for tonight, and so any questions about your city government, anything I can answer, I certainly am willing to do that. I will tell you this: is that lately we've had an uptick in shootings. We're down about 29% in our violent incidents um, over last year. But we've had a lot of incidents lately about kids, 15, 16-year-olds, in their neighborhoods, uh, you know, in their homes. And that's a disturbing trend. First question is, where are these kids getting these guns from? And so we know that during summer, when summer comes, we know that it ramps up. And so I'm just imploring parents, check your kids, get your kids, get your kids, get your kids, get your kids. because obviously they're getting guns that we don't know where they're getting them from, and that's an issue. And so, fortunately, we haven't had really anybody to die because of it. But the reality is that that's a time bomb waiting to explode. If you love your kid, get your kid, know where your kids are, know what they're doing, check their social media, know who their friends are. You know, some things we're so busy sometimes trying to give our kids the things that we did not have, that we don't give them things that we did have. Accountability. If if I if I had a friend and my parents didn't know that friend, then I didn't have that friend. You know, that's the reality. Um, you know, and you got to know who your friends are. You got to know who they're hanging out with. Every now and then, you just got to commandeer that phone. A lot of these kids have um, 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 identities that you don't know. You think you know your kid, and sometimes you don't. And you don't know what they're engaged in. You don't know who they're fooling up with. I just saw, if somebody sent me a video in Fraser Homes, a bunch of kids out there, no adults, these kids out there, girls out there fighting, and everybody just kind of standing around. I mean, the reality is that nowadays, it's not just a fight. Somebody pulls out a gun. And so we don't want to bury any kids this summer. We're doing what we can as best we can. At the end of the day, we want trigger pullers off our streets. But we have to make sure we know. And as I said before, we have to go into our kids' rooms, and you know what? Flip those rooms. They can't live in your house and have privacy. What is privacy living in somebody else's house? Flip them rooms. Let's see what they got going on. You've got to know what's going on in your kids' lives. You have to know. I mean, people say, well, it's the police. No, it's not our job to raise your kids. It's not. It's not. And we're not going to. That's your job. And so, you know, we know that parenting is difficult, which is why we have activities. Put your kids in some of those. You think I wanted to be a Boy Scout? No, I didn't want to be a Boy Scout. I had no choice but to be a Boy Scout. You think I wanted to be in a church choir? No, I didn't want to be in a church choir. I was going to be in a church choir. You think I was going to go to the after school programs? No, I didn't want to go to after school programs, but I was going to be in after school programs. Why? Because I had a parent that said it was going to be important for me to be engaged, for my mind to be busy, and for my body to be accountable. And so we have to be able to do the same thing. And it's harder now because of social media, which is why you got to check these kids' phones. You have to take their phone, open the phone. I need to look right now and see the lives that some of these kids are living. You got to know, because a lot of these beefs begin, on social media, and we find out after the fact. Renee Kennedy says town hall. What about this? This is a town hall, Renee. Um, this is my weekly town hall meeting. Oh, wait a minute. Where's my? Uh oh. Uh oh. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Uh oh. My thing is not working. Wait a minute. Thank you, Mara. Linus wants to know what time is the city hall tour. I think it is. I think it's on Tuesdays, I believe. Um, Let me look right quick. Oh man, what happened, man? There we go. Let me see. Let me see. So it's first Tuesday tours of City Hall, Linus. And I'm getting you the information right now. Um, so it's first Tuesday of the month, on the first Tuesday at 12 noon. And so I want to give you this. I'll put this in here so that you will have it. see. I'm looking for lighted. Sorry, let's see. Oh, wait. All right, let me see. I'm looking for you. I'm looking for you. Um, this is about City Hall tours, so I'm putting that information out there. Hey, Kathy. I appreciate you, Michelle. Vanessa, hello. Will I please ask the Chatham County District Attorney's Office what is the outcome of people arrested as a result of the SPD operation? All right, so Chuck, um, so the city of Savannah, we have control over the arresting part of the situation. We make the arrests, our officers make the arrests. Then we turn them over to another part of the criminal justice system, as you know, is the DA. And obviously, we have some concerns. We want people who do violent crime to be vigorously prosecuted and hopefully sent away from this community for a long time. I mean, a lot of things. I mean, I believe in a restorative justice model. I believe in giving people second chances. I think if you pull a gun in this community, then you don't need to be here. And so I got contacted. There was an issue about a young lady who um, was a victim of domestic violence, and apparently uh, it wasn't filed in the 90-day period. The indictment wasn't filed, so by law, a bond had to be issued. Um, and that bothers us because obviously you have a violent individual on the streets. Um, you know, you all have to be able to uh, require accountability from your elected officials, just like you um, require accountability from me and from your city government. So, um, I think those are questions that you all have to ask. Obviously, we're very interested in it because it's very, hey, Sonia, it is very disheartening. I mean, I know being a police officer myself, when you have people who are able, to do a crime and they're walking. I mean, you do this job, to get them off doggone streets, and so we need them to be off the streets, and so we need them vigorously prosecuted. Again, I could deal with some drug stuff. I could deal with most of that stuff. When you talk about violent crimes, when you're talking about rapists, when you talk about domestic violence, when you talk about child molesters, when you're talking about people who are playing with guns or shooting guns, trigger pullers, they don't need to be around us. So good to see Deborah Adams joining us as well. Um, well, Lala, no kid under 16 should have a phone with the internet or internet that cuts off at a certain time, or you can't go to certain sites. You got to do that. So, um, hey, Pete Nichols, thank you for joining us, Pete. Good to see you. Um, hey, Talia, thank you for joining us. Kathy Butts is on with us, and so here is Curtis, and um, so you all know, what the game plan for Curtis is, everybody. So um, Curtis is lonely, and Curtis needs some friends, and so that's why Curtis is here. So um, that's what we'll do. So we'll uh, we'll deal with that. Hey, Latasha, good to see you. Chuck, Chuck. It's difficult. It is difficult for us, and I know you realize that I wasn't being elementary, but since you asked the question, I needed to kind of expand it for context for everybody watching. But it is difficult for us because at the end of the day, who wants, when we have people to give us tips on someone and the police make a good case and they arrest the person. I mean, they don't want the person right back out on the streets again. I mean, that's hard for everybody. And so Patricia wants to go back to old child raising. Um, yeah, well, I mean, Chuck, I mean, I think we know, You know, we know whether they're in custody. I mean, I think that's not hard at all. I mean, you can go to the court's website and you can see whether they're in custody or not. Yeah, that's not hard. Um, it's a problem. The question is that what do we do now? We know they're back on the streets. You know, when obviously they might be more apt to commit another crime because it's the first crime. Um, but I mean, I think finding out is one thing. Being able to do something about it is something different. Good to see George on with us. Good to see Tia on as well. Tab is on. Good to see you, Tab. Lisa is on. Elliot is on. Good to see you, sir. Thank you for joining us. And I think um, Linda is leaving me for the Dubs and Kings. Good to see our beloved Sadie Campbell on. And so this is our senior member of Friday Night Live, and we love her and thank her for joining us. Um, well, Chuck, what I will do is this. Chuck, this will be my homework assignment for this week. Um, just from the last push we did, I'm going to individually find out the status of these individuals, and I'll give them to you in percentages. How many of them are on the street? And again, I think it is a great effort. I think again, we're doing what we can. The end of the day, though, is that we pass them off to prosecutors and to courts to take it on from there. And you know, they're all, everybody's elected, just everybody's elected. And so, I just want people who, will accept our scrutiny, will accept our blame where that may fall, will rise to the challenge, but, everybody has to rise up to theirs as well. Hey, Lamb, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Good evening to you. Robin McDaniel Beck is on all the way from Kansas City, Missouri. Always good to see her. Melody is on. Carrie is on. Gail is on. Jennifer Davenport is on. Um, no, no, Chuck. I don't know whether they're back on the streets yet. I don't know. So I'm checking. I'm checking that as well. So, um, Kathy, we've talked about that. And we have a parental responsibility ordinance that we've really struggled in being able to enforce. And then really the goal was that if there was clearly a failure of the parent to properly supervise their kids. Now, we know that, kids do stuff their parents don't know. We all do, right? That's one thing. But if it was that we could prove that there was some neglect because the parent properly failed to supervise their children, that we could then hold the parent responsible under city code. And so we've had some discussions about that. We're talking about how we can do it. It's one thing to have an ordinance, it's something else to have an ordinance to have teeth. And so we're trying to figure out how do we help that to have teeth. So that's what we're working on with that. Uh, Mara, thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful weekend as well. Um, so that's what we're doing. Um, any other questions? Anything else I could answer? We're up on 43 minutes, so I know I was late, but I was hanging out with the Mary's Place and the lip sync contest of which I was a judge, and I don't even know who won. Let's see. Let's see. Um, so Sonia says the retaliatory court system, primarily a police officer and judges, trumped up terroristic threat indictment against me with irrefutable proof of my innocence day one for 2 years, 9 months, causing me undue irreparable harm, all while burdening the criminal court system. I really need to bend your ear on my story. One of the many that are pursued unjustly while the guilty are free to reinsure and worse. Okay. So I don't know, again, I don't know enough, Sonya. I mean, I don't know enough to really speak on it, so I don't want to because, again, I don't know any of the details about that. Um, but say, say she's a survivor. Chuck, you're very welcome. Hey, Minister Chanel as well. I'm still trying to find out if any of y'all were there. I want to know who won the lip sync. I'm trying to figure out. Um, well, Lala, it was like 80 degrees in Savannah today, like 80 degrees. Beautiful weather here. That's what you get. Oh, wow. It is the 95th birthday of Mrs. Dorothy Riley Ponder. Happy birthday, Mrs. Ponder, to you. Happy 95th birthday. Um, very, very happy birthday to you. And I do want to take a moment to wish a happy 100th birthday. This week had a chance to spend some time with her last weekend. And again, today, this week, it was the 100th birthday of Mrs. Isabel Hudson. Miss Isabel Hudson turned 100 on April the 5th. And so I was there and I had a chance to go by her home and to see her on her birthday. And she got up and walked to the door. She had a little walker on, but she knew exactly who I was. And so, wow, to be 100 and be in relatively good health, and more importantly, to be in your right mind is such a blessing. So, happy birthday to Mrs. Isabel Hudson. Happy birthday to Mrs. Dorothy Raleigh Ponder. Happy birthday to you from all of us at Friday Night Live, the date night. Good to see Jamal Brown on, sir. Good to see you. Um, so, what else is on your mind? 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 Yeah, I think the chat is freezing, and I've been having problems following it, Marsha, today. So that's my problem. So I think it's because I think I needed to refresh my browser. So so this week, this weekend, obviously, I'm trying to kind of keep it close and kind of hold it down. Holy Week is a time of reflection. It's a time of repentance and a kind of time of reflection. And so, that's what hopefully I'm trying to do to kind of, be still and for me reflect on the awesome sacrifice that was made for me. Oh, Ethel says it's storming in the Highlands. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it might be a weather issue as well. So, um, so what else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? I need to know who won the lip sync. I'm trying to find out. I'm trying to see who won. Let's see. Oh, good to see Miss Dr. Patricia West on. Um, help the school system find a new leader. Yes, actually, um, to tell you the truth, I am a part of a focus group. I've been contacted, and they have asked me to give my thoughts on um, a school, the new school superintendent. I will tell you though, that is probably one of the most difficult jobs um, in the world because you just got so many different things going on. You have an issue with um, you know, with budgets, but yet still the educational experience. And I think what people don't really realize um, is that so many people, um, that a lot of these kids come. Hey, good to see Reverend Thomas Hart. Some of these kids they come to school with so many issues. Before you could even uh, uh, lead, before you could even, oh, you know what? Hey, I wanted to say this. Well, before you could even get into the whole situation of educating, you dealing with everything they're dealing with. I want y'all to welcome Mayor Jalen Smith on. Uh, Jalen Smith is 18 years old, and he is the mayor of Earl, Arkansas. He is, um, we think, the youngest mayor in the country. And I'm going to get you on to talk, Mayor Smith. But you might have heard about him. Um, but he's 18 years old, and the mayor of Earl, Arkansas. This is a fantastic young man. And I had a chance to hang out with him, and I was assigned to be a mentor to him. And he is quite an inspiring man and mayor. And he stepped up and said he wanted to run for mayor for his city, and he beat a couple of older folks. And at 18 years old, he is the mayor of uh, of Earl, Arkansas. So I want y'all to make sure y'all give him, um, show him some love and welcome Mayor Jalen Smith. And I'm gonna get you to be my guest, so you could talk about your city. And obviously they had some issues with some tornado threats in Arkansas. So I think everybody's all right in Earl, Arkansas. But I think a lot of him. And he is a great leader, and he's going to do even greater things. So I appreciate him allowing me to be a mentor to him, but he's really mentoring all of us. So um, everybody show love to Mayor Smith as well. So yeah, y'all see everybody see it. So yeah, keep praying for him. Um, but yeah, so I'm saying hello to them. So back to Lemoore. Yeah, these kids have so many issues that are not of the educational experience. So it's like, um, you know, before they can even learn, they got to eat. Before they can even learn, they have to sleep. Before they ever learn, they have to have their minds right. Before they can ever learn, they have to be valued and feel valued and self-esteem. And they have to have healthy food. They have to be able to see, and they have to be able to hear. They have to have all of these things. And kids come to school the way they come to school. And so before you can ever educate them, you have to deal with whatever it was they dealt with last night, or you have to deal with whatever it was they dealt with over the weekend, or you have to deal with whatever they dealt with over spring break, or whatever they had to deal with over the summer before you can educate them. And you don't have a lot of time. And teachers who have really large class sizes, who have to move an agenda, really don't have the time and wherewithal to be able to help people to catch up. And I think that's what the difficult part is, because at the end of the day, we're looking at numbers, looking at rates, how many people passed, how many people graduated, when really it is societal. And I think we have to look at it like that. And that's why we need really to prioritize social workers and counselors. We have to prioritize how we do education. To me, I think kids go to school too early. I mean, I think at one time schools dealt with a more agricultural clock. I think kids should go to school just like we work, 8 to 5, 9 to 5, or whatever the case may be. I think that kids need to go to school 6 days a week. I think kids need to go to school all year long. Um, I went to China, and I'm looking at these kids go to school 6 days a week, and look at the outcomes. And so they're able to do other things. When kids go to school all year long, actually everybody in the course of the year gets more time off than if they just took the summer off. I mean, the problem is there is a loss of ability between the end of school and the beginning of school, and you spend the first couple of months trying to catch up to what you lost over the summer. It is so difficult. Good to see you, Zane. It is difficult. It is difficult. It is difficult. It is difficult. Um, so that's the deal. We have the 100 Black Men Vera that do great jobs as well. Um, well, Desiree says we don't have enough bus drivers for our hardworking scholars. Um, yeah, um, but on the other end of it is that private and choice schools are choice, and so if you have a very limited asset, Desiree, then I mean with that privilege comes some responsibility. I think that high school kids should be riding school buses nowhere. I think you put them on public transportation. I mean, I was in New York in middle school riding the train by myself. I mean, it helps you grow up. I mean, I took two trains and walked 4 blocks to go to school in middle school. In high school, I took two buses. We didn't have, I never rode a school bus. We had bus passes. And so maybe if we're able to do that for high school students, then, you're able to use other drivers for other opportunities such as choice schools. I think it's just we have to look at all of these things, but we have to be willing to do things differently than what we've done. If we always did what we always done, we always get what we always got. And we have to be willing. But the problem is the moment we try to change things, do different things different, people, whoa, wait. And it becomes very, very difficult. And it becomes political. And it gets crazy. And people are at school board meetings and they're fussing and they don't want their kids to wear a mask. Those types of things. Good to see you, Brother Eric. Good to see you on with us. So it becomes very difficult. I mean, I'm glad I'm not the school superintendent. It is difficult, and so we really we want our teachers to be social workers. We want them to be counselors. We want them to be mental health professionals. And they can't do it, which is why teachers are burned out, which is why they're stressed out because they're dealing with all these issues. Some of these kids in these schools have mental health issues, real mental health issues. Some of these kids in these schools have trauma issues. They have post-traumatic stress disorder. They have seen people shot. They have seen dead bodies. They've lost people that were close to them. They have all these things in their young mind, which is hard for even adults to be able to really reconcile in their mind. But yet they're dealing with this in school. We don't know what these kids' home situations are like. That their parents might be fighting or they might not know who their parents are. They feel a sense of belonging. Maybe they didn't get enough sleep. I mean, it's so many different things. And maybe we need to rethink this whole grade thing and maybe do it by ability. That way, if you have a kid that's overage, he don't feel so bad being in the 6th grade. He's really in the class with people with his ability. We have to be able to really look at that. But again, it's very difficult because we're only focusing on what the results are right now and really not the process to get to the results. And that's what makes it very difficult for a superintendent. A superintendent is under pressure to get it done. The school board is saying get it done. The state is saying get it done. The federal government is saying get it done. And the superintendent has to put pressure on principals. Principals have to put pressure on teachers. And at the end of the day, everybody's stressed out. So, it's difficult. Um, Let me see. Ethel wants Fly J. Johnson honored in Savannah. We'll talk about that in a minute. Um, Lamore, I visit schools more than once a month. I'm in schools maybe 2 to 3 times a month. I read at schools. I substitute teach at schools. So yeah, I mean, I'm in schools, so I'm there because I recognize how important it is to keep kids motivated. Um, so Mayor Smith, see, I think Mayor Smith is he at minimum he's a deacon, uh, but at most Mayor Jalen Smith is going to be a preacher one day. Y'all mark my words. So he always try to get somebody to preach. uh, so well, Beverly, I don't know. We never challenged those kids to get to school. I mean, put this, I mean, who says they're getting on a school bus? Um, so we have to look at that. So these kids have dealt with too much stuff, and so I'm looking for us to really create ways of looking at education much more holistically. We have to start kids off earlier. I mean, you will be surprised, and I've seen this, where you have kids that are starting kindergarten and they don't even know their name. They don't even know their name. You know, they call, what's your name? My name Man Man, because that's what Mama calls a Man Man. You know, your name is Darshanae, but they call you Lil Lady, and that's what you think your name is, Lil Lady, but your name is Darshanae. You don't know what your mama's name is. What's your mother's name? Mama. And so they don't have those things. So we have to start teaching young people at much, much younger ages. The school system has it was called the ACORN program that's helping, I think, 3-year-olds. We have to start getting them into ACORN and then start getting them into pre-K and then getting them into kindergarten. Right now, it's not mandatory. It's not mandatory. So kids sometimes get in, and I mean, I never did go to kindergarten. I started in first grade. But it's such an important experience. We have to get to that critical third grade mark, and so kids have to be able to learn the things that kids are supposed to know. Because if not, when you start off behind that finish line, it is so hard to keep up. It's hard. So, um, so I mean, I say thank God for anybody in the school system. I've substituted a couple of times, and I will tell you, after a couple of hours, I was tired. Um, and some of that stuff was, now the difference was, you know, those kids weren't playing with me. Like, look, we're not having this. But by the time you deal with some of that kind of stuff, you know, some of these parents, you know who your kid, you know what your kids are, which is why the kids were mad because they didn't want their kids home with them during the day. Like kids straight turning up. It's like you have to get them calmed down before you can even start teaching them. And so, I say, it's just a very, very difficult job. And public education is a public responsibility. We have all got to be engaged in that. And we have too many retired teachers and too many people who have skills that we can lend to our local school, even on a limited basis, just to be able to help, just to sometimes give some of these teachers um, some some uh, some relief, just some of it. That's what I'm just saying. So, um, yeah, lead. I'll tell you, these kids don't know. I'm glad my grandnephew Saya knows his name because his mom Cheyenne makes sure that Saya knows his name. We ain't calling him Lil Boop Boop, and then he goes to school. What's your name? Lil Boop Boop. No, your name's not Lil Boop Boop. Your name is Saya. And so again, you just don't realize just the very small things um, that kids should know. And so we have to help our teachers to be able to do that. So Zayd says our students need mentoring, change the teacher evaluation process. Yes, vocal focus on curriculum design that is not based on standardized tests are very, very difficult. It's saying standardized tests is basically saying you can regurgitate the things that I tell you. I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You get to tell me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that really learning or is that teaching the test? And I think the reality is that we have to have young people do understand the concepts. If I understand why is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then I understand 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think if you're able to create that conceptual learning, then you're able to understand some of the other stuff. Saya loves me. That's right. And I love Saya, and he let me hold him too. So Mayor Smith says when he was in high school. Now Mayor Smith just got out of high school like last year. Literally, Mayor Smith was a student leader in his school in Earl, Arkansas. He just got out of high school. He's saying he was an advocate for best quality of education of students, but in particular, students with learning disabilities because there's not a lot of opportunities and resources for rural communities here in Arkansas. How can you strive to get the best education resources and opportunities for students that are trying to be successful? And you know what, Mayor? That's absolutely true, which is why we need the help from our federal government, particularly our state governments, to say that education cannot be a spectator sport. It has to be participatory. It has to be funds. It has to be resources. It has to be more expansive, and that we can't just focus on high achievers, and that we have to have salvage operations to deal with young people who are losing their way at very early ages. Because as Zane said, and it's true, it is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men and women. Uh, Chuck, I agree with you. Yes. Parental counseling, yes, absolutely. We have to be able to help because sometimes we don't know how to help. Get home, take the phone away, no TV, supervision. And I mean, it was true because many of us, not me, but I know of people who had parents who had less education that they did, but yet they knew the importance of education. And so the importance of education from people who could not read or write, or from people who did not have a high school diploma, or for people who did not have a college degree, was impressed upon the succeeding generation to make sure that it was important to them. And so Beverly says that she was told by educators it's not mandatory for a child to go to kindergarten, but it's mandatory for them to be in school. That is correct. That is correct. And again, that is a rule that is crazy. We need to get kids engaged in school as early as possible. The problem is it costs money. We know it costs money. But the fact is the opportunity cost in missing the opportunity when for example, 15 years later, 16 years later, you have an adult that is functionally illiterate, somebody who has a piece of paper that says diploma or a certificate of participation, whatever they call it, certificate of attendance, but yet can't go out and get a job. That's the issue. But it's not just the school system's burden alone because it affects the entire community. Good to see you, Pastor Eason. Wow, I got to see my nephew is on that I didn't see while I was in New York. Why is that? Why was that? Why was that, Jay Javinci? Tell me why I didn't see you while I was in New York. But anyway, so we have to look at how young people learn, how they learn differently. I think that, some standard classroom configurations don't work. We have to look at when kids are able to learn best and how they learn. As we look at kids that have these IEPs and things, again, I think you have to be able to be more expansive in our thinking. We have to create ways to get more people involved. So anyway, I know I've been running my mouth. So Zane says her students were extremely successful because she had freedom and support to do whatever means necessary. And that is true. And Molly knows birth to age 5. If kids are not starting school till 6, we're missing a lot of opportunities for essential learning. And they did. I got home and I had to sit there and I watched Sesame Street and the electric company. I had to learn. So, the reality is that I can't, as mayor of this city, I can't just sit back and be hands off about education because the reality is that those kids end up becoming my citizens, my residents. And how do we prepare them for the 1,600 jobs at Gulfstream? How do we prepare them for the 8,100 jobs at the Hyundai plant if they can't functionally be successful? And that's our challenge. But anyway. Good to see Clementine Washington. Always good to see you, ma'am. And so I know I'm over my time, but happy Good Friday to you all. We know that it's called Good Friday not because of what happened, but because of what will happen. It's not called Good Friday because of the devastation of the day, but because of the promise of tomorrow. That from the seed that was planted in the soil, that a beautiful flower rises on Sunday. So thank you all so much. Thank you for joining us on Friday Night Live, edition 159. We are still together. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Clementine Washington from the city of Midway. Thank you, Mayor Jalen Smith from Earl, Arkansas. And I am looking forward to seeing you on the next edition of Friday Night Live. And Sonia, go ahead and inbox me and we will talk. All of y'all have a good night. God bless you. And keep being Savannah Strong. Good night, everybody.